Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about an example where the angle B is an acute angle. It is less than 90 degree. In the theory video, we have seen that for side length A to have a real solution, the side length B has to be greater than or equal to C times sine of B. Now, when side length B is greater than or equal to C times sine of B, there are two possibilities, of course. One possibility is that B is equal to C times sine of B, and the second possibility is that B is greater than C times sine of B. Now, when B is equal to C times sine of B, we know that there would be only one solution, and in that solution it will be a right triangle, where the right angle will be the angle C, and the side length A will be equal to A times cosine of B. And then for the second possibility, where B is greater than C times sine of B, we have again three more possibilities. When B is less than C, B is equal to C, and B is greater than C. When side length B is less than side length C, there are two solutions. One of them would be acute triangle, the other one will be obtuse triangle. When side length B is equal to side length C, there is only one solution possible, and it will be an isosceles triangle because the two side lengths are equal, and in that case A will be equal to 2 times C times cosine of B. And when side length B is greater than side length C, again there is only one solution, and the side length A can be calculated using the formula C times cosine of B plus square root of B squared minus C squared times sine squared of B. So anytime we are given a problem where two side lengths have been provided and an angle opposite to one of the sides has been provided, then this is clearly an ambiguous case, and we have to do this case study. First, we have to find out whether B is acute or obtuse or right angle. I have already posted two separate videos when the angle B is a right angle and also when angle B is an obtuse angle. Now, starting with this video, I am going to take a few examples in separate videos, of course. I am going to take various examples for each of this scenario. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the scenario where B is equal to C times sine of B. But in any case, as soon as we see a problem or an example, we need to first try to find out whether B is an acute angle, and that will be easy to find because in the example itself, the value of B will be provided, and we will easily find out whether B is acute or obtuse or right angle. And if B is an acute angle, then again we have to see whether side length B is equal to C times sine of B, or whether side length B is greater than C times sine of B. And if it is greater than C times sine of B, then again we have to find out whether B is less than C or equal to C or greater than C. That again very easy to find out from the example itself. Now let's take an example here. Let's suppose we have an example like this where side length B has been provided as 9 cm, side length C has been provided as 6 times square root of 3 cm, and angle B has been provided as 60 degree. So this is an ambiguous case because we have been provided with two side lengths and an angle opposite to one of the sides. In this case, the angle that has been provided is opposite to the side B. So here let's first try to find out whether B is an acute angle or not, and obviously we can see B is equal to 60 degrees, so B is an acute angle. Now then let's try to find out whether side length B is equal to C times sine of B or greater than C times sine of B. If it is less than C times sine of B, obviously there will be no solution. If the side length B is less than C times sine of B, there will be no solution. The answer will be no solution. Now in this case, what is C times sine of B? C times sine of B will be equal to 6 times square root of 3 times sine of 60 degree, and that will be equal to 6 times square root of 3 times square root of 3 over 2, and that will be equal to 18 over 2, which is equal to 9. So this will be 9 cm. So C times sine of B is equal to 9 cm, and here B is also equal to 9 cm. That means B is equal to C times sine of B. So here we have the first scenario when B is an acute angle, where B is equal to C times sine of B. And for that scenario, we know that there will be only one solution, and it will be a right triangle, where the right angle will be the angle C. We can also use the Sine Law to calculate the value of the side length A. So let's try to do that. First we'll find out the value of the angle C, and then we'll derive the value of the angle A, and then we'll derive the value of the side length A. From the Sine Law, we know that A over sine A is equal to B over sine B is equal to C over sine C. First we are going to use these two ratios. So from here, can we write it like this? What is B? B is actually 9 cm. So I am writing 9 over sine of B, that is sine of 60 degree, is equal to C over sine of C. Now what is C here? C is actually 6 times square root of 3 over sine of C. And from here, what would be sine of C? that will be equal to 6 times square root of 3 over 9 times sine of 60 degree, and then we can say sine of C is equal to 6 times square root of 3 over 9 times square root of 3 over 2. That's the value of sine of 60 degree, and from here you can see that the numerator is actually 6 times 3, that is 18, and the denominator is also 9 times 2, that is 18. So this is actually 18 over 18, and that is equal to 1, and which can be written as sine of 90 degree. So from here we can clearly see that angle C is equal to 90 degree, and that is the right angle. Now that we have been able to figure out angle C, we can easily calculate angle A. That will be 180 degree minus the sum of the angles B and C. So angle A will be equal to 180 degree minus the sum of the angles B and C. So B is 60 degree plus C is 90 degree. That is 180 degree minus 150 degree, that is equal to 30 degree. So we can see that angle A is equal to 30 degree. So let me make a note right here. So out of the 3 missing attributes, we have been able to figure out 2 of them, the angles A and C. And now let's try to calculate the side length A. For that we can use the first part of the sine ratio. So we can say A over sine A is equal to C over sine C, and from here we can say then A will be equal to C times sine of A over sine of C. Now what is C here? Side length C is actually 6 times square root of 3 centimeter times sine of A, that will be sine of 30 degree, over sine of C, that will be sine of 90 degree. So then we can say that side length A is equal to 6 times square root of 3 times 1/2 sine of 30 degree is actually 1/2 over sine of 90 degree is actually 1. So that is actually 6 times square root of 3 times 1/2, and that will be equal to 3 times square root of 3. Here the unit is centimeter. So we have been able to find the value of A, which is equal to 3 times square root of 3 centimeter. Our example was to solve the triangle where B is equal to 9 centimeter, C is equal to 6 times square root of 3 centimeter, and the angle B is 60 degree. That means we needed to find out the 3 other attributes, which are the side length A, the angle A, and angle C, and we have been able to find out all 3 of them. I hope everything made sense here. In the next video, we are going to discuss about another scenario where angle B is an acute angle. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.